Welcome to the Benchwarmers podcast. As always, I'm Casey Coggins, and I am joined by Alvin Hebert.
We here again.
And Andrew Lara.
Hello.
So it is Super Bowl week. All the media stuff is going down right now up in Minneapolis. I've been trying to keep my eye on it, and I'm sure everybody else has been too, just listening to what some of the crazy questions that people get asked during Super Bowl, because there is more media than there is on a normal week for football. So some wild and crazy questions about, what's their favorite color, or what's the craziest thing they've done on a football field, and all that kind of stuff, leading up to the little thing they call the Super Bowl on Sunday, between the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it's going to be a better game than some people might expect. On when you look at the two teams and you look at the Patriots, it seems to be kind of a mismatch. But I think that the way the Eagles have played all season, I've cast them aside all season, thinking that they were overrated and that they were kind of a cheap 13-3 or whatever they ended up, but they've won both of their games in the playoffs, and they just smashed on Minnesota. So I think it'll be a good game.
That defense carrying them.
Yeah, their offense was pretty good against Minnesota.
Well, Nick Foles played the game of his life, so
yeah.
How many of those does he have left?
And Case Keenum showed up. The real Case Keenum.
Nick Foles literally played a perfect second half.
Yeah, so the chance of that happening again.
Yeah,
what is it? They won't need to play exactly the same way, but when you play the Patriots, you can't make mistakes at any point. It's with the Patriots, it's just like against Alabama in college football, or the Warriors in the NBA. A small mistake is going to allow them to score, get momentum, get energy, and put you away.
Yeah, ask the Falcons.
Yeah. Ask the Jags. Ask
the Eagles.
Most of the teams in the NBA, when they play the Warriors, they'll be up 10, and then all of a sudden, Steph Curry or Draymond Green gets a block. They outlet to Steph Curry, who throws a behind the back pass to Kevin Durant for a dunk, and then they're up 23 in the blink of an eye.
I thought he was going to say he shoots from the logo.
Right. It's like Draymond blocks it to Steph at the logo, and he just throws it like nothing.
Yeah.
In the open court.
Plays like that are the plays that just propel the Warriors into 15-0 runs that they just put on a team quickly, and that's that's part of the Patriots is you make a mistake and they exploit it. And it's really impressive. As much of a Patriots hater that I am, it's impressive to watch any small mistake. Blown coverage is a touchdown. You don't seal the edge, it's a touchdown. You play perfect defense on a cornerback, you get called for pass interference, the next play is a touchdown.
And you can't even say that with Gronk being out, they're going to be at a disadvantage.
They just changed their offense. They're one of they're
only used to playing without him too.
They're one of the only teams that actually changes their game plan and it works. They have the ability to change what they do and still make it work because of how disciplined Belichick and his coordinators get their team.
Is Gronk out? Or
as far as I know, he is going to be playing.
I would expect at least 2 weeks concussion. It's Gronk, so you can't really give him much of a concussion test. He's already goofy as it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gronk spike. He's back to normal.
Yeah.
Like if he's playing, I don't expect them to use him much though in the offense. I can see that happening. Like he's just there and he's like decoy.
Nah, if he's in, he's getting the ball. If he's in, he's putting up at least 2 touchdowns.
The guy. I mean, Danny Amendola has been their best playoff performer in the last 2 seasons.
What about Edelman with that one catch that won them the Super Bowl?
Julian Edelman had
that bullshit fucking catch in the middle of the field. Just he went back and then just oh, hold on, ball's a little short.
Yeah, he had the good catch, but I think Amendola in the Super Bowl last year had 10 receptions for 100-something yards.
But could Amendola make that catch to essentially?
No, because he's 5'2". Julian Edelman is
5'4".
Julian Edelman at least is a little taller.
Like I said.
But it's just, it's the Patriots just find a way to win, and a lot of people say, oh, well, it's Brady. No, it's not really Brady.
Here it comes.
It's just I'm not going to do my Brady rant today because we need to focus on both teams and not just one player.
We don't really have to focus on them.
What is ridiculous?
What do they have left to ask them at media day?
The most ridiculous thing that I've seen all week is the fact that they're trying to compare the quote unquote goats.
The goat of the goats.
The goat of the goats between Brady and MJ.
I saw that. So that's how you know there's nothing to write about right now.
And
no storyline.
Yeah. So the one thing I will say about Tom Brady is how can you be the greatest of all time when you weren't the greatest quarterback in any season? For 15 years, you could probably say that there was a better quarterback than him, other than the undefeated season in 2007.
Well,
outside of that season, Peyton Manning put up better numbers. Drew Brees put up better numbers. Aaron Rodgers has been better than him over the last 6 seasons.
Comes down to this, or
and it comes.
He's about to work on his second hand.
Everybody judges it on the rings, which I understand is a decent argument, but I will always go. Football is the ultimate team sport, and a quarterback doesn't win rings. Terry Bradshaw has 4 rings. Troy Aikman has 3 rings. Neither of those guys, I would say, are all-time great quarterbacks as far as top 5 quarterbacks of all time go.
Troy Aikman is a god.
But they had, defenses, run games. Troy Aikman.
Leave Troy alone.
Troy Aikman has Emmett, who's arguably the greatest running back of all time. Not in my opinion.
He's almost as good a commentator as he was a quarterback. And he's a damn good commentator.
Great.
And Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, Leon Lett, those Cowboys teams were stacked. And so nobody says Aikman, where I actually pulled up the numbers in the years that the Patriots have won the Super Bowls. The worst defense that they had in those years, as far as points per game allowed, was 8th in the NFL. They were the 8th worst team. Was the worst points per game they were. They've always had a top 10 defense as far as points allowed.
What about that this year? Because this year, no way. The defense has been shit this year.
It's 31st in yards, but it's 4th in points per game.
So that's still not good.
They don't break.
Yeah, you could run all over them, but then you're not going to score.
But then you have to kick a field goal. In another stat that I saw, I didn't see, I heard.
So it could be based on they get some good breaks.
The other stat that I saw was in the last 3 or the last 4 comeback victories for the Patriots in the playoffs. In the second half. No, not in the second half. In the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter of the last 4 fourth quarter comebacks that Brady has engineered, that entire quarter, the Patriots only gave up a total of 3 points. So, like, yes, Brady is the clutchest quarterback of all time. He is the most clutch quarterback of all time.
He's the coach.
Yes. But as far as just, the first 3 quarters, like, they're behind. They're not putting teams away. He's not blowing teams out in the playoffs. There's been a couple blowouts. The first 3 Super Bowls he won was by a field goal.
And how many Super Bowl MVPs does he have?
3. 4.
4 out of the 5.
Deion Branch won 1.
I think that could be argument.
Yeah. Well, Malcolm Butler should have won the other.
But wait.
For the interception.
But that's just one play. And that's like the Julian Edelman.
That literally not like, oh, the Edelman catch was in the middle of the fourth quarter. Like, there was still game to go.
But that's one play.
But the Malcolm Butler play literally won them that Super Bowl. The last play of the game on the 2-yard line with the weird play call, which it works and everybody's like, oh yeah, great play call. They were expecting a run. But it didn't work. Malcolm Butler made the play. He deserved the MVP, I think, just for that one play. Because what happens if he doesn't make the interception and Seattle scores? Who wins the MVP? Not Brady, because now he's the loser. It's not that it was the fact that his stats were on the winning team. Those stats wouldn't have been MVP if he lost. So if Malcolm Butler literally won the game with an interception, don't you think that he should get it more because his one play was more valuable than any of the other stuff that Tom Brady did?
So because Iguodala was the reason why the Golden State Warriors won their first title, but let's say Steph Curry hits a buzzer beater to win them the championship, you'll give the MVP to Steph Curry other than the hard work that Iguodala was.
Steph Curry still had a good series, but Iguodala was the one that was playing. It was the same thing with Kawhi. Tim Duncan probably deserves that MVP more than Kawhi does, but Kawhi played good defense on LeBron.
Yeah.
I think it's in the NBA comparing the NBA to the NFL's, I think, tough to do because unless somebody hitting a buzzer beater in Game 7 of an NBA Finals to win the championship, if they hadn't played any of the series, and they just came in for that one play, hit a 3, they don't deserve it. But Steph was still putting up. I think he averaged 21.2 points a game in that finals or something like that.
The first one?
Yeah. He still put up decent numbers. They weren't mind-blowing. But it's after the first 2 games when Dellavedova had his number, he went off. He had like a 34-point game and stuff. So if Steph Curry didn't have the 2 stinkers, he probably wins it based on like how it ended. But even with those 2 stinkers, if it goes to a Game 7 and Steph Curry hits a 3 to win the series, everything that Iguodala did would have been negated by Steph Curry's play throughout the series. Added on top of that, he literally won the NBA Finals. Like the Kyrie Irving thing, that one's kind of tough because Kyrie played a great series, but LeBron also made the block. And I think the block kind of negated the 3 for whatever reason, which I guess it's kind of the block helped them stay in the position to win the game.
Yeah, because the 3 was the actual shot that actually
won the game. Yeah, so that one's kind of it could have gone either way. LeBron also was putting up numbers that had never been seen before in the finals.
Kyrie was right there with them,
but yeah,
those same numbers.
Scoring wise,
yeah,
rebounding and assists wise, LeBron again for like 2 straight years in the finals led both teams in points, rebounds, and assists. But going to the Super Bowl and getting back on the Brady MVPs, last year
The GOAT.
Last year, I don't even think he deserves it because I think that one should have gone to Deion Lewis. Or was it James White or Deion Lewis who scored 3 times? I think it was Deion Lewis.
I think that was Lewis.
Deion Lewis scored 3 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown. Deion Lewis had such a great game, but it goes to MVPs always go to quarterbacks, and the quarterback is the star position and the face position.
It's the hardest position.
It is. It definitely is. But
if they're engineering the offense.
But if you're turning around and handing the ball off to a running back, yeah, there's something to be said that if he's checking out of a pass play and handing the ball off because he saw it and he made the read that a run play is going to work better, but they still have to block. The guy still has to run the ball. So I think even last year, the last 2 Super Bowls should have been Malcolm Butler and Deion Lewis as the MVPs. Brady put up good numbers because he had to. He had to come back in both of those games. In both of those games, he had to make a comeback in the fourth quarter. So he's throwing the ball more. It's we were earlier in the season we were talking about when we were talking about the Cowboys Broncos game. Dak threw the ball 50 times. Like some quarterbacks, you throw the ball 50 times, you're going to get a 300-yard performance and you're going to have 3 touchdowns. Doesn't mean you win the game. Not necessarily, because you're probably having to throw that many times because you're behind. So I tried not to get on a little rant. Y'all pushed me.
We just gave a little nudge.
Yeah. Go. But with this Super Bowl, there's part of me that feels like there's going to be some kind of karmic relief for the Eagles. Like after losing to the Patriots in 2003, and losing their quarterback late in the season, just being cast aside since then, and as I put it, like even by me, this whole season I was like, the Eagles aren't going to do anything in the playoffs. Like, yeah, they'll win regular season, but look at who they're playing in the regular season. They have a weak schedule, and they did.
Well, I think even still, like them facing the Vikings, I mean that was
the best defense in football.
But still,
that they put up.
I think that was their best matchup that they could have.
Because the Vikings beat the Saints?
Yes,
the Saints could have beaten.
Well, the Minneapolis Miracle happened, and that probably had. But
Vikings shouldn't have been there.
Throughout the entire season. Well, other than the first 2 weeks. After the first 2 weeks, throughout the rest of the season, there were really just 3 teams where you were like, one of these 3 teams is going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Like, the odds-on favorites, like these are the 3 teams, and it's Saints, Vikings, and Eagles. And the Saints and the Vikings were pretty evenly matched. And the first half, the Saints looked like they were going to get ran off the field. They made some adjustments, came back, took the lead late in the game, and just a blown play, a really freak of a play. Every time I watch the replay, I don't understand how Stephon Diggs doesn't continue to move forward. He jumps to catch the ball as he's sprinting to the sideline, and he jumps straight up. Like I don't understand how his body didn't continue to carry to the sideline. Like it looked like
I got 3 letters for you. HAX. Hacks, man. That's how it happened. That's how that bullshit happens.
You can't be like, what is the X word?
Hacks.
Cheat code.
Yeah, he's going, and again, that play happens. So the Vikings go and play the Eagles, and the Vikings' best defense in football might have been a little emotionally drained from, having to play that kind of game, which happens, when you're leading big and then all of a sudden you're behind and you think you're about to lose. Like, it was, a lot of people were surprised in the NBA Finals, Game 6, when the Heat won and had to come back and they thought they were losing, and it was kind of a done deal. The trophy was right there on the side and everything's roped off, and then they win that game. A lot of people were like, how are they going to come back for Game 7 because of all the emotional fatigue of feeling like you just lost the NBA Finals. So emotional fatigue can weigh on people just as much as physical fatigue. So they win in that kind of fashion. They celebrate the fact that they won that in that way when they have a history of blowing things. And they just came out flat. They scored early, and after that, it was just...
Will the real Case Keenum please stand up?
He did.
They shouldn't have been there.
Then you had that game from Nick Foles in the second half, like...
Yeah, and that's really the reason I think the Eagles kind of have a chance is they have a better offensive line than the Patriots' front line. They have a better defensive line than the Patriots' offensive line. And that's kind of been the secret to the Eagles' success is I underrated those two aspects of the Eagles. I underrated how good the offensive and defensive lines of the Eagles are. And a lot of people say you win football games in the trenches. If Fletcher Cox can play like he's been playing all season, push the pocket, get Brady out of his comfort zone. Brady hasn't really played great in the last 8 weeks. He looked subpar against the Jags other than the fourth quarter.
That's just what it is. When it's time to shine, boy puts on his cape.
Go to the Jags film against the Patriots. I noticed in the second half, the Jags started playing zone. That 3rd and 18 or whatever it was, 3rd and 19 that they picked up on the final drive to help win the game. They were in the zone. The Patriots beat zone. That is everybody should know that by now. Brady is going to beat the zone. Their wide receivers are going to find a soft spot. Playing zone gives him time to sit in the pocket, play man, bring some pressure, take the action to them. If they beat that, they beat that. But don't change your entire scheme on one play because they're in a 3rd and long. In the rest of that quarter, they were playing zone. They didn't have Jalen Ramsey on Danny Amendola.
Some people get scared and start playing safe.
Yeah, I know teams start playing it safe, but I don't know how many times we have to watch teams in the playoffs against the Patriots start playing it safe. You know what those the records are? They're not good.
Ask Atlanta.
Yeah, they'll ask a lot of teams. They change things up, and all of a sudden you're losing.
God damn, dude, that fucking pass! I just showed it again. He just...
When the last game...
He went catch and then just behind the back. He never, 1 foot, too.
Yeah, he was...
The last game the Spurs played, I think... maybe it was the one before that, but there was a game recently where Davis Bertans had, 2 monster dunks. And I couldn't help but think about our Spurs preview, and I was saying, talking about Bertans, and y'all were like... But he's a big man, and I was like, no, the dude's playing small forward. he's athletic.
Isn't he 6'10" though?
Yeah. He's he's the same kind of player that Kevin Durant is, just not nearly as athletic and good.
And 4 inches smaller.
Not really.
KD's 7'2".
Yeah, and he's
like
wider.
7 foot, but
and he got a wider body frame.
He's a couple inches shorter.
And he's got more meat on him, so he's a shorter, chubbier Kevin Durant that can't shoot the ball as good.
And white. Like, it's like me. Like,
what is he, Latvian or?
Yeah, Latvian. Kristaps Porzingis.
The Latvian gangbanger.
Okay, so back to the Super Bowl. we need to get through this. I know there's going to be like 2 more disruptions. Don't tempt her.
Stop antagonizing the dog.
So, yeah, for whatever reason, teams stopped playing their game against the Patriots. As a Patriots hater, it's annoying to watch.
Now, tell me, are you a Patriots hater or just a Tom Brady hater?
Yeah, what is it?
No, I'm a Patriots hater.
You're anti.
I'm anti-dynasties.
You're anti.
I don't like dynasties. I don't like when it's just kind of a given that
kind of like a communist fan. Everybody gets a championship.
Socialist.
There you go.
Yeah, socialist. Everybody gets a championship.
Yeah. It's your turn. It's your turn.
No, but
Eagles still waiting for their turn though.
I was actually explaining my thoughts on like the way that I see it as a dynasty, because somebody was like, "Oh, well, the Spurs are a dynasty." The Spurs are a dynasty in a different way. Not one season. Have you ever said the Spurs like are the team to beat, and like it's like a who is going to beat the Spurs? Like it's never, that conversation is never had before the season.
Spurs were always underdogs,
and so everybody's like, oh well, the Spurs are going to contend, but nobody's like, well, who's going to beat them this year? And
they were contending, but they were never favored.
It was, yeah. So like the Kobe Shaq Lakers, it was who is going to beat them? Like who is going to beat them? The Warriors. Like you're like, oh well, they're in the finals. Like
the Bulls,
write it in. The Bulls in the 90s.
Bulls.
I think it was Colin Cowherd, who said it, who explained it. His definition of a dynasty, which really like resonated with me, is just you need 3 back to back to be a dynasty.
Yeah.
Like those Lakers, that was a dynasty. The Kobe Shaq Lakers, yeah.
3 back-to-back.
Yeah, like
Jordan had 2.
That's like a minimum right there. Like you go 3 back-to-back, you're dynasty.
Yeah.
The Yankees, the Lakers, the
Cowboys.
The Cowboys, yeah. Patriots.
Yeah. Winning 3 back-to-back.
And like Spurs haven't even gone back to back.
Yeah, there was like they won every other year, right?
Yeah, there was a point where it was only odd number years. If it was an odd number year, dude, Spurs are taking it this year. The calendar says so.
That was the only time y'all was made. Odd number. I think I'm gonna pick the Spurs.
Yeah, but nah, it wasn't until 2014 that we won an even number year.
That was against the Heat.
That was against the Heat. That was the hungry one.
Oh, because y'all lost the
year before. That was that Game 6 just meltdown.
Again, like with the Spurs never winning back to back, they weren't really a dynasty, but the Yankees in the early 2000s, they were a dynasty. The Patriots in the early 2000s were a dynasty, and then the Patriots now are a dynasty. Alabama football dynasty.
And the reason that I think that third back-to-back that would have helped Miami, they didn't get it.
Yeah,
that's why you don't consider them as dynasty.
But they were dynastic. They were like that kind of. They were there in the conversations of possibly being a dynasty because
kind of like the Warriors right now.
But I would actually say LeBron is the dynasty more than the teams are the dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
Because the conversation is who's going to beat the Cavs. You know why? Because they have LeBron James. That's literally like the second, like the reasoning why you ask who's going to beat the Cavs. It's who's going to beat the Cavs. I don't know. they have playoff LeBron James.
I think you got LeBron James and then you got playoff LeBron James. Which one you want?
And so yeah, I hate the Patriots because they're a dynasty.
Kevin Love's out. Broke his hand.
Woo!
5 weeks, I think they said. So another All-Star about to be released. Another All-Star about to be replaced.
Jaylen Brown.
Yep, 6 to 8 weeks after suffering broken hand.
So who's it going to be, like Lou Williams or... Because Paul George is already in there.
The tweet I showed him is Draymond Green apparently said that Jaylen Brown deserves to be on the All-Star team, and Jaylen Brown saw like eyes and palm trees or something like that, and then
he was looking through the grass.
Was that what that?
Yeah.
I didn't actually look at the emojis.
It was the eyes and the tall grass. He was looking through the grass.
And then 7 hours later, it was right after Andre Drummond got selected as the John Wall replacement. He just did the like the head down and like the disappointed like I can't believe what's going on. So Jaylen Brown is an option, but I would probably say it's going to be Lou Williams. But who knows? Does it really matter?
Oh, CP3, he got snubbed too, right?
No, CP3 only played like half the first.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Lou Williams is my pick. I wouldn't even put Jaylen Brown up there. Like, Jaylen Brown's had a good season, but
I'd say Lou will.
Jason Tatum probably has just as much of a case as Jaylen Brown does.
About to get a tweet by Draymond Green.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons would be an option, but the dude hasn't hit a 3 all season.
It's okay.
Put him out.
I was like, that's good. That's why. Should we put Ben Simmons in? How many 3s has he hit? None. No. This is a new league now.
He must be able to hit.
Actually,
3s.
that might be that. Well, it could be that. Yeah, he hasn't hit a 3 all season. I don't want him to learn how to shoot 3s yet. You're gonna start chunking them up and be like, oh wait, this is how I do it, and learn how to shoot 3s and become unstoppable.
Man, he's gonna be something special though.
Well, I've kind of steered this conversation away from the Super Bowl, so getting back to the Super Bowl, I might as well start. We might as well start kind of getting our thoughts on the actual game instead of what the teams have done so far. And like I said, the Eagles' lines can help dominate the game. Very similar to the way that the Giants were when they beat the Patriots both times in the Super Bowl. So, Alvin, what is your outlook on the game? Like, how do you see the two teams stacking up, really?
Well, to me, it all boils down. I guess Gronk. We did say that Gronk is playing, right?
More than likely.
Yeah.
Nothing's official.
But either way, I feel like Bill Belichick has a game plan set up for if he is playing or not playing. I really do want to see how the Patriots online stack up to that bum rush defense front line that the Eagles have, because Fletcher Cox is a beast. And he could really, just bully anybody on that line, because their offensive line hasn't been what it used to been, 5 years ago when they started, releasing players out the blue.
Yeah,
because they wanted money.
I feel like we have this conversation about the Patriots every season where there's a period where their offensive line just doesn't seem like it's very good. But then it kind of gets better as the season goes, and in some games it gets better as the game goes.
But the one thing that's always consistent with their line is that their pass protection is always good. Their run blocking might be what's lacking, but you never hear Tom Brady's been the most hit quarterback, or he's always getting hit and all that stuff. He's always being well protected in the pass
game. The game against the Jags was I
He took some hits.
believe the sixth time in his playoff career that he's been sacked more than 3 times, and it was the second time that he won one of those games. So he was 1-4 before beating the Jags. So like, and that's 6 games of getting sacked 3 times is pretty good. 3 sacks isn't much.
Yeah, like you got quarterbacks that are getting hit like 50 times throughout the whole entire season.
And that's
well, those are quarterbacks that, I mean, quarterback can go without getting hit. It's just a matter of how you.
Well, remember David Carr?
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
53 sacks in a season.
Yeah, poor guy.
I mean, you gotta learn at some point.
That was different. So it goes to game planning. This year was the year that Tom Brady held the ball the longest. So usually he's getting the ball and throwing it within like 2.1 seconds. And this year it was up to like 2.7 seconds. He was holding the ball on average longer because he was trying to hit the deep balls to Brandon Cooks.
And they didn't have Edelman either. That he was always hitting those quick slant routes.
Yeah, and that's what Danny Amendola has been. And so they changed the game plan a little bit. And again, what I said earlier, Belichick and those the coaches on the Patriots get each individual player ready to go better than any other coach in the league. You don't see the same type of stuff from the Patriots that you see the Steelers. The Steelers, you'll see Le'Veon Bell have a great first quarter, and then in the second quarter he misses blocks and he fumbles and he's not held accountable for that. Whereas a running back for the Patriots, you fumble, you're not going to play for another 3 quarters, and then you have to hope
you fumble again, you're just cut.
Yeah, exactly.
During the game, just go to the locker room, pack your bags.
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
They might bring you back, but they're going to cut you first.
Well, that's like those are my 2 common denominators that the Patriots have: Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Like,
Yeah.
the Eagles might have this like good front line, good old line, but the other side got Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
To me, the craziest thing about it is all the coordinators that I feel like the Patriots have gone through. They've gone through the Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel days. They had Josh McDaniels. They didn't have Josh McDaniels. They have Josh McDaniels again. I forgot who their defensive coordinator was before Matt Patricia took over, but I think he's only been in the position for a couple seasons.
Patricia?
Yeah.
I think it was like his second or third year.
Yeah, so
And he's out after this.
going to be the Lions head coach.
Yep.
I'm excited about that.
Don't forget, you still have Stafford back there. So.
And there's, hey, I'm on record saying it is not about the quarterback. It is not. It is not about the quarterback.
But you did also say it's the most important position.
Yes, but just because it's minutely more important than another position, like if I was to say it's there's 11 guys on the field on an offense and 11 guys on the defense.
It's so easy. It's
24 players, kicker and punter included.
All right, back to Super Bowl.
Each-
I wanted to see how I could just throw you off.
I have to defend my guy.
Just goddamn you.
I have to defend my guy. But it's they go through coordinators, they go through players, defense players, offensive players. They've done all that, and that is one of the things that kind of everybody's like, well, this helps build Brady's case, but I think it helps build Belichick and the Patriots culture more. And it goes to another Spurs comparison. The Spurs have had core players and a core coach, and you've seen a bunch of role players come and go, and over the last 17, 18 years, and each player they bring in shines in their role. Then they go to another team and they don't play as well. And it says something about the fact that, one, the coach instills a culture, and the star player follows that culture. So Belichick instilled the culture, and Brady followed that culture. Because early in Brady's career, he wasn't the one that was required to win games for them. His offensive numbers weren't that great. He wasn't torching the league, but they had a top 5 defense in his first 5 seasons. So and it helped instill the culture of, this is how we play. These are the things we're going to do on a daily basis. This is how we're going to practice. We're not going to be called for penalties. We're going to learn how. They said that. Do you remember against the Titans when they, on the punt, where the guy almost jumped offsides, and then the offensive lineman or the wide receiver, whatever, flinched, and they called a false start, and they changed it to a neutral zone infraction. You remember that play? Belichick, in the post game, or the media days going into the next week, said that they have guys practice that. Like, what coach has players practice flinching when a guy jumps? You don't hear that. Like, it's those small things that you see from Belichick and the Patriots that you don't see from any other teams.
Well, talking about their culture, like, when it comes to the coordinators, I don't think they hire, like, from outside. Like, I think they're pretty much all
within.
They're all like homegrown. Like, they was under like Charlie Weiss or Romeo Crennel or under Josh McDaniels, and
they were like a quarterback's coach or a wide receivers coach or a defensive
they just promote them
coach.
from inside, and they just turn out to be good because they already know
exactly
the system.
And they know what's expected of them, and they know what's expected out of their players. And so, like that, I will always commend the Patriots for that. Like, they have their culture enables them to be in this position year after year. 7 straight AFC Championship games, their 8th Super Bowl. Just crazy numbers.
Dominance.
Andrew, let's get to your outlook on the Super Bowl. Are you with both of us where it's going to be just who wins the offensive and defensive line battle?
I mean, of course, it's going to come down to that. I see Philly coming out strong. I see him having a really
28-3 lead with like 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, or 2:16.
I'm thinking like a 20-7 lead at half. But I'm also calling it 24-20 final.
Ooh, we're getting to our predictions.
We'll
24. Talking about the Patriots.
24.
I'm not
24-20.
We're not that predictions yet, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun. I'm sorry.
It's a tease.
I got excited.
Brought to you right after these break. Nah, man. I see the Eagles having a strong first half. You know, typical Belichick testing the water, see what he can get away with. Come back second half, better, adjusted, winning them.
Yeah, I think the key is if the Eagles can get LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi going. Like, if they have to rely on Nick Foles to go out and perform the way he performed against the Vikings and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns to win this game,
Like, no way.
you're probably going to lose. And I said it a couple weeks ago when we talked about like Patriots games. The way to beat the Patriots is getting a 4-man pass rush and playing man with a 2 deep. So like a cover 2 man where you don't have to blitz anybody, and you can get pressure on Brady off of a 4-man rush. and you controlled the time of possession. If you look at the stats, all the stats favored the Jags in that game. They won time of possession, like turnovers. They were able to get a pass rush, but in the fourth quarter, they changed their defense and they might have gotten tired. Something happened.
Well, they even had that interception late to
the fumble.
The fumble.
Yeah, offensively they changed their game plan.
Yeah, like wasn't moving the ball at all.
And that's why I keep going back to. That's why I keep going back to the Patriots coaching, because it comes to, a lot of it comes down to coaching, because it's the same thing in the Super Bowl. The Falcons changed up their game plan. They started doing something different. It's just but you have to stick to that. You have to win time of possession, because if the Patriots run 80 plays, your defense at the end of the game is going to get winded. So if you're up 7 with 2 minutes left, but they've had the ball longer than you have and they've ran 20 more plays than you have, your defense is going to be tired. You're not going to be able to pressure Tom Brady, and that's when Tom Brady shines, is the defense gets tired, and now he can start picking apart players, like picking apart defenses and getting the ball out the way he needs to. And you're more prone to penalizing yourself because you're getting beat off the line, you're having to hold more, trying to do things to just whatever you can to keep up.
Yeah, they just kept shooting themselves in the foot every time they had a chance to, like, do something. Like, all right, you got a turnover, now you got to make it count. Like,
yeah,
just kept shooting themselves in the foot. And then
one last jab about the Patriots-Jags game. That 3rd and 9 where they ran the ball left side, got the first down, which won them the game, and Belichick, you see him jumping on the sidelines with a smile on his face.
The most exciting Bill Belichick you ever saw.
There was a pretty blatant hold, in my opinion, where an offensive lineman had Talvin Smith, the linebacker, who was a couple yards away, but there was, I think it was, if he would have been able to get off of that block, he would have probably tackled the running back for a 5-yard gain. But the offensive lineman had his shoulder pads, like had his hand in his collar, not letting him disengage the block. And it's like he's the only man in front of the running back that has a chance to make that play. They call the hold, and then it changes the game. Jags would have a chance. I don't think they win, because I wouldn't trust Blake Bortles with a minute left to go and drive and win the game. But that was my one last jab about that game and how they got the luck of a non-call for a holding. The Patriots, I feel like the teams find ways to lose to the Patriots more than the Patriots find ways to win. It's just, to me, it's crazy that how often I see it. I don't know how many times I've said that tonight, how many times I will say it going forward. It's just, it's mind blowing to me how it seems to always work out that way. So we've given our outlooks on it. It seems like we're all kind of leaning Patriots are going to win this game. So to do just some predictions and get going forward, as many roads that I led us down on this Super Bowl talk. Let's get, Alvin, your prediction. Who is going to come out with the 6th ring, or the first?
Oh, well, I definitely seeing Patriots winning it. Even with all like those advantages that Eagles had, those the same advantages that the Atlanta Falcons had, just with a better quarterback and a better
running backs and better receiver and better defense.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I feel like the Patriots are like used to these playing against these defenses now, like Seattle, Jaguars, the Falcons. They all had those.
You know what they all have in common?
They lost.
They were all down in those games. We just need to find a team that won't fold.
Exactly.
Are the Eagles this team?
That won't fold.
They
What? Find a team that doesn't fold.
Here goes another one.
be here all night. So let's
Carson came and went.
let's finish this prediction. So Patriots win.
Yeah, I was going to say 27-20 though.
27-20 though?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
I don't know.
27,
I don't know. I don't know 20 though.
20.
Andrew, your prediction. I heard 24-20 earlier.
I got 24-20 in favor of the GOAT.
The goat? Who's that?
I didn't know goats played football.
Yeah.
What's his name?
He
Bill
goes by
Belichick?
He goes by many names. Tom, Tommy, TB12.
Little pissant.
Oh, leave the kids out of it.
I know, right?
I thought we were talking about Tom Brady. That's what I'm calling Tom Brady.
He's going to call us now.
I got
I
24-20
hope.
Patriots. Tom Brady. I hope. We can only wish.
There's a Boston number calling me.
They got 24-20. Tom Brady and the Patriots getting that sixth ring, working on the second hand.
I mean, you said it, 27 at half, so that means they have to come back again. Do you see like a Danny Amendola trick pass to Deion Lewis for the game winner so that Tom Brady can win another Super Bowl MVP?
Bill doesn't play
I
that.
see two Gronk
He doesn't
spikes.
play that. He had 2 flea flickers against the Jags, I thought.
I see two Gronk spikes.
2 Bronx spikes.
No, not Bronx. Gronk spikes.
Gronk.
20 though.
Well, my prediction is...
Are you going to say 20 also?
No.
No?
Because I don't see them scoring that many points.
Really?
I just, as much as I hate to say it, I have to go with a non-biased prediction. And the Patriots are the Patriots. They always do the right things. For the most part, there's some shadiness behind the scenes that seems to appear every now and then. Spygate,
Deflategate.
Well, just some other
Ticketgate. Watergate. They're behind it all, man.
The Patriots just always seem to do the right things, the little things that help win a football game. They
Score.
Yeah, but they put themselves in a position to score. They don't drop passes very often. There's been very few times where Danny Amendola dropped a pass in a Super Bowl, I believe, or Wes Welker did years ago.
And that's why he went to the Broncos.
But for the most part, I would say 9 times out of 10 they make the right play. They make the right. They change into the right protection. They change into the right pass or run play. They do all the right things, and it truly is a marvel to see a team that well prepared. And so I just see them just outperforming the Eagles. How many times can the Eagles be underdogs and be written off and actually prove themselves the better? And this might be a little bit of maybe a reverse jinx or so I hope that me saying this will prove myself wrong. I hope I'm wrong in this, but I'm going to say it's going to be 35-17.
Jesus.
All right, no competition.
I think it's going to be Patriots receive the ball, go down, score an opening touchdown, get a turnover early from the Eagles, score another touchdown. Kind of like y'all remember the opening game, Patriots and Chiefs. Y'all remember that game, right?
Yeah.
You remember how Patriots got the ball, drove down, scored, looked like it was going to be easy. Chiefs turned the ball over on Kareem Hunt's first run, and he fumbles on this first run of the season.
Speaking of the Chiefs.
And,
got a new quarterback.
And, so the Patriots come back and they have the ball after that fumble return, and they throw the ball to Gronk in the end zone. He looks like he catches it, but they review it. He actually didn't. Ball moved. They kick a field goal. They miss. Changes the entire complexion of the game. We all remember this, right?
Yes.
That's going to be different. They score.
It's going to be nothing like that.
They score. They get a turnover. They actually score another touchdown. Go up 14-0 early. Put Nick Foles in a position where he's going to have to win the game. And as I said, if it's going to rely on Nick Foles winning the game, the Eagles are going to lose. And Patriots will have all the momentum. And they win a 6th ring. And I have to listen to more Tom Brady's the GOAT conversation for another 25 years.
25 years.
I would say that, Patriots walk off into the sunset yet again, winning back-to-back titles. You know who the last team to win back-to-back titles was? The Patriots.
I was like, hold on. Yeah.
When they beat the Jake Delhomme led Panthers and the TO on
Donovan McNabb Eagles.
Yeah, the sick Donovan McNabb throwing up in the huddle and the TO going for 180 receiving yards with a giant rod in his ankle. Again, 1 by 3 in both of those games.
Didn't the Panthers want to go to OT also?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was close. It might have. I don't remember. That's like 14 years ago, man. I was only 13. What do I remember when I was 13? Enough Super Bowl talk. There's plenty of that going around, and there's part of me that's excited that the Super Bowl's here, and there's a part of me that's like, God, I really hate the Super Bowl.
Oh, it's just another Patriots in a Super Bowl game?
Yeah, so you don't really have much to talk about with the Super Bowl. You only... what new questions you going to ask Tom Brady? What kind of shampoo you wear? Where's Guillermo at?
We're really trying to have Tom Brady call in to us and tell us he's never going to call us back.
Right.
I have some words for you, Tom Brady.
He goes, well, I have you on the line.
Can you admit this is true?
Tom, can you tell me who do you think the GOAT is?
Not naming yourself.
His name's TB12.
Have you read my book?
Let's wrap up our podcast this week, going to our On Fire and Dire and our Prophecies. I want to start off with my On Fire for the week. It's Tyga Woods, y'all.
Hey, yeah, I had him. Yeah. I feel like people slept on that though. Real talk.
I tried to watch as much as I could of him this weekend because I knew that this was his first PGA Tour in a while, and he's been saying that he's feeling healthier than he has the last 4 years. There's no pain. He hit 9 fairways in the first round and a total of 9 fairways in the next 3 rounds. But he made the cut. He played all 4 rounds. He was able to take practice before and after the rounds. No pain whatsoever. And he putted extremely well. He was one of 5 guys in the tournament not to have a 3-putt. So if he finds his driver, which in his prime days was his best shot, being able to outdrive everybody. He won't be able to outdrive everybody anymore because the guys now, Dustin Johnson's hitting like 340 drives. And so Tiger needs to get into that 310 range and keep it up with his putting and his iron play. But it's a good sign to see Tiger on the golf course. And on a little side note, also with Tiger back, Rory McIlroy shot a 22 under in some like Dubai Classic, and he was hurt a lot of last season, so you could see all the young guys that are coming up. The Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson's not necessarily as young, but he's been the number one player. Jason Day, all the great golfers that you see now that you didn't see in the early 2000s. You see all of the talented young guys now, and you add in Tiger and Rory to that field on a week-to-week basis in all of the majors for a full season. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. A pretty exciting golf season, as exciting as golf can get. Which for me is exciting. Most people probably not.
It was only hype when Tiger Woods was in it, man. And
that's because he's black, alright? This is racist.
This.
He's a biracial angel.
How dare you say that about Tiger?
No, I mean, yeah, he brought a lot of like viewers to the game, and it was because he wasn't the rich white kid that grew up in a country club playing golf. I grew up playing tennis. I know exactly how that looks. I know.
I look in a mirror.
No. Going to Roosevelt and playing tennis and going to Reagan and Churchill playing tennis are two completely different things. Going to Alamo Heights and playing tennis, completely different things. Being at Roosevelt playing tennis, like you're like, I didn't take any lessons. I had one racket. I had one pair of shoes.
It was like Johnny McEnroe in high school.
Breaking rackets, just I would send them back to Tennis Warehouse and say that they broke somehow, and they would ship me a free replacement.
Dang, this guy on his third one this week.
Hey, I was getting all the defects.
I only broke 12 in the 4 years of high school, alright? Only 12.
He made it sound like that's a small number. Only 12 out of the 4 years, you know.
Right.
It's no big.
Only broke like 3 a year.
No big.
Yeah, but yes, I know what the country club looking kids look like and how good they are and how kind of...
They're all named Chad.
Troy. There's some Troys there.
Skyler.
There was best name that I ever had to play against. Kid from Smithson Valley. His name was Grayson Throckmorton.
Holy shit. I smell the privilege for it.
Throckmorton. Throckmorton family have been around for generations.
Smell that?
Isn't that what the twins that made Facebook?
So
they didn't make it.
Your take on Tiger Woods before I made it racist.
I was just saying, like, he brought the hype to golf when he was on it, winning those championships. And then if he comes back and actually be like competitive and not like how he was like forcing himself to come back but always hurt, and you just saw him like looking real brittle.
He was like the RG3 of golf for like 4 years.
Well, because he got all them nuts off, man. He was out. All them nuts wear somebody out. Come on.
It wasn't just that. It was the cornucopia of drugs that he was on too.
I was like, ew, homeboy's busting all these nuts. Don't want to have all the back problems. Just like,
I slipped a disc.
just slinging that seed. while being married.
You want me to
You
pull
get one, you get one,
Do
you
you want
get
me to pull out my pitching wedge? I can put it on the green anytime.
He squats down too, just like about 5 feet away. Watch me do this. Start dying and just.
Okay, back on focus. Okay, so yeah, Tiger
Stands
Woods
up and just like, yes!
all of a sudden, 15 guys come out of the closet.
And Tiger's, he's going in.
I was like, he had more
right,
swings and strokes than goddamn.
right before it all starts, some guy pops out. Get in the hole!
Oh man, alright.
Too many innuendos. Too far off.
Sink it!
4.
Oh man.
That's his vinegar strokes.
Oh. Vinegar strokes. He goes fucking Asian eyed, all slanted. Oh, oh no!
The only.
He picks up an accent. Oh no, I finished.
Okay. All right, that's enough. Wrap it up. Chappelle shows. Wrap it up.
The Grammys theme song starts playing.
All right, so Tiger Woods made golf popular for a while. Anything else we need to add to that?
I don't know, I was just saying, if he continues playing like how he showed right now, I think he could bring that fire back to golf where it'll show better competition. Because when he left and he was all hurt, like,
I mean, it's
you
hard.
can see it start dying down.
See, it's competitive. Like I said, like there's a lot of good golfers now. A lot of the guys at the top of you see week after week on the leaderboard. They're really good golfers, and a golf fan like understands like the talent that you have in golf right now is probably bigger than ever. And that really goes all sports. Like the talent just in every sport is bigger than ever. But Tiger, he brings the fire, he brings the flair, he brings an audience, and it was missed when he couldn't win majors and he wasn't playing well, and the whole scandal went down. So since then, like there's been probably a big drop in viewership that's had to slowly rise as these top players have come of age and figured out their games. So again, it's gonna be a good golf season if Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy can stay healthy. Did you have a nut? Where are you going?
That was just like a little side note thing because I didn't think anybody was going to mention it, but I'm glad you did. I was going to say, one, Clippers getting out of that Blake Griffin contract. Awesome, but my main one is Beckham got himself an MLS team in Miami.
Yeah, he got that finalized,
and he got people like Messi talking about, give me a call, I'll play. So I'm like, if you could get European stars into the MLS, like legit stars in their prime, not outside their prime.
Not Kaká when he came over, Thierry Henry.
Not Villa.
No,
not Pirlo. Talking about like...
Pirlo was like 52 when he came over, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was... I'm talking about like if you could get like young guys like one of the Dembeles or somebody
any
like that.
16-year-old Brazilian kid.
Yeah, because they're going to be great.
Neymar the third.
And I feel like what he said was good because he wants to make a main point of cultivating the young talent here in the U.S. So I was like, that's good for not only MLS but also the U.S. men's Because
that's been talked about for so much already.
Yeah, but if he brings like prime like European talent over, like that just helps
I would
grow.
We talked about this a while back about where the U.S. men's national team is and like where they need to go and why they haven't been able to develop, and they need to build the academies and focus on that. Since 2004, they've really focused on it, and everybody wants like improvement day one.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna happen day one.
13, 14 years since they really started building academies. Like San Antonio has become more of a hub. Like it's kind of sad that they won't push us up into the MLS.
Well, that's because Austin is looking to buy a team.
Yeah, but we have a soccer team. We have like the Alamo Dome has hosted national teams. Mexico comes here and plays national exhibitions. Not even against the U.S. They come here and they play like Panama,
Guatemala.
Yeah. And so even though it was voted the ugliest building in Texas, the Alamo Dome can hold a soccer team. And so I think, you build...
Well, they got that Toyota field right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a professional field, I don't think. I don't think it's big enough.
I think SAFC would say otherwise. But
it holds... I don't know how many it holds, but I wouldn't put it at more than 10,000. Where the Alamo Dome holds, 45,000? Maybe more?
Yeah, but with soccer in U.S., are you really looking to fill 45,000 seats?
No.
Yeah, I think 10,000. I think that's...
But Seattle, the Sounders field, I think...
That's like...
But Portland nation. Timbers.
Yeah.
I think even the Minnesota FC, they just got introduced and they play on a bigger field, and they have like soccer... and this goes to my point. Soccer has grown in the United States over the last 15 years, and everybody wants that change and that progress to start, like, to just be done with now, and it doesn't work that way. Like that youth movement, the development of youth leagues and academies. Like, those kids are 10 years old right now. Like, 7 years from now, we might see a bigger boost of the U.S. men's national team, which goes to what you're saying about Beckham. Like, he's going to help bring in more, which will help expedite the growth of the U.S. soccer movement. But it's there. It's growing.
They're probably not going to start in the season until, 2 years from now, so he got time to cultivate talent, find talent, and whatever. But just his name alone is going to bring people, and I think it's going to be a good look.
Andrew, I guess that was your fire, right?
Yeah.
Andrew, your fire.
My fire pick, I got Juju Smith-Schuster with this little
my homeboy
with the little troll job. Took a photo op with a fan
wearing a Tom Brady jersey.
The TB12. So Schuster puts his arm around the kid, puts another finger pointing to the number, but the number that he's pointing with just happened to be the middle finger. So I mean, you gotta respect the troll.
Always gotta. When there's a good troll going on, you always gotta love it.
So yeah, that was my little fire. That's great.
I wonder if they caught that, after they took the
That's
picture.
what disappoints me so much in the Steelers is like Juju Smith-Schuster, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger, like Bryant. Why can't I think of his Martavius. Bryant, like, their offensive talent is so damn good, and their defense was better, and I think the Ryan Shazier injury just killed
deflated.
Killed their playoff hopes. But like, there's so much talent that it's just frustrating to watch them lose in the way that they did. So let's see who's in dire for us. Andrew, you can follow up with who's in dire.
I got my man Boogie Cousins.
Man,
Done for the year.
damn.
Yeah,
Was it the Achilles?
Just popped the Achilles.
I think I jinxed him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with you there.
Last week I said he was gonna.
2 weeks before the All-Star break.
I was posting up like all the trade to get him to the Cavs to where he can win a championship.
He was going to get traded.
I predicted he would have another triple double against the Rockets.
And on top of this, like want to say it's a contract year for him.
It is.
So who knows if he's gonna play with New Orleans again? This could be like what could have happened.
Well, what I've been hearing is it actually might be kind of a blessing for the Pelicans because they might be able to keep him
For a discount.
Not even for a discount, just keep.
It was already going to be for discount if they decided
Just keep him because teams might not. The teams that he would play for might not push that full contract. So the Pelicans might be able to bring Boogie back because of the injury. You never know how somebody's going to recover from an injury like that. You look at a guy like Wes Matthews, who had the same kind of injury when he was 27, and he hasn't been as explosive. He hasn't been the same player.
Never been the same like he was with Portland.
And, I mean, it's a different time of point of the career, but Kobe Bryant was playing, pretty good basketball when his Achilles blew out, and he just
Dominique Wilkins when he blew out his
he could never return.
Anymore.
So the Achilles, like blowing out the Achilles, is kind of a weird injury to get when you're 25 years old. Like Parker just tore his Achilles, but he's 16 years, 17 years in the NBA, all and the minutes and
30
stuff.
Something.
I think he'll be fine. But like I said, he might not be the same player.
Oh yeah.
He might not be as explosive, which is one of the things that like he's not the same, but like young Shaq, like one of the things that made young Shaq so damn good was he was 7'1" and he was strong and he could outrun people and he could dribble and he could do all that stuff that Boogie can do. And it's just, it's a rare combination of skills that he has. And I hope that he comes back from it. So, Alvin, let's go to your dire.
My dire, sticking with soccer again, Real Madrid lost their rights to the name of their stadium. So now they lost about 140 million pounds. And so now they got to sell like 12 star players.
Wow.
To recoup all that money.
I saw on the like bottom line on ESPN like Real Madrid or some team bringing over a player from Real Madrid. I thought, and but I didn't think anything of it because that happens all the time in soccer where you get a loan and transfers.
The transfer
and
window
stuff.
is about to end at the end of this month, I think. So a lot of moves has been happening, but yeah, they lost 140 million pounds.
I'm all for it because I'm a Barcelona fan, so.
Yeah, I'm a Barcelona fan too, but I was like, but now, because there's always been rumors that Ronaldo wants out and everything like that because they're saying they want Neymar there in Real Madrid for the summer.
And this gives him an out.
Yeah. Go somewhere else, get more money.
Poor, wealthy football teams and soccer clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, Real Madrid is the, 5th most valuable franchise in the world.
Yep.
So, boo-hoo. So, my end dire, I put the Clippers. I think you alluded to them as your fire.
Yeah,
for getting out of the contract. It's not necessarily the getting out of the contract that puts them in this spot for me. It's the fact that you think last season you're talking about them trying to contend for a title, trying to like contend to beat the Warriors, top 4 in the West. Like you're talking about them in a different light. And now you're talking about them having to retool, rebuild, trying to get draft picks, trying to move up, trying to get...
Well, they said they're not looking to blow up the team. So
yeah, they're not, but Blake Griffin, with his injury problems, kind of lessens how good he is. Like, and not talent-wise, but, you know, you can't have your star player continuously getting hurt. But when he's
really a star player?
When he's on the court... You don't see many 6'9", 6'10" guys who are as powerful and athletic and can handle the ball. Like, he's somebody who can match up with Draymond Green. And every time we talk NBA and talk about teams,
Draymond don't think so.
I go to the comparison to the Warriors. How does a team match up against them? Because that's the gold standard right now in the NBA. And having a guy like Blake is somebody who can stand out on the perimeter and handle and guard Draymond Green, which not a lot of teams can do.
Didn't Draymond call him soft one time?
Yeah, but that's not surprising. Blake Griffin and Serge Ibaka kind of have that like fake tough. Where they try to get tough and then something happens and they start shrinking. But Blake Griffin he's gotten better at shooting threes. You've seen him when Chris Paul was getting hurt with the Clippers. They were running the offense through Blake in the high post, and they had some of the most efficient numbers offensively that they had in the entire Lob City era. Because he's a good passer, he's a good ball handler. He can shoot the 18-footer pretty well. I mean, he's not the type of mid-range shooter that LaMarcus Aldridge is, but he's still a pretty decent mid-range shooter. And then he can dunk it on people. He can post up. He has post moves. And I think pairing him with Andre Drummond. I think that's a good... It kind of puts him in the same situation that he was just in with DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, I don't see the difference.
To stare it back to the Clippers, yeah, you moved Blake, and I still feel like they're looking to trade some guys, like get assets. At least in my eyes, you know. I would, if I was Doc, if I was the Clippers, I would be trading DeAndre and Lou to try to get some kind of package deal. So you go from, the reason why I put them here is because you go from a team that had, for the last 4 years, was possibly contending for a trip to the NBA Finals out of the Western Conference, a team that you could see, you know, beating anybody. They had a 3-1 lead in the series against the Rockets. Blew it. They've had 20-plus point leads against the Warriors in games that they've played, and they blew those games, and that's where a lot of the criticism for them comes from. But everything's changing, and you know that's Doc Rivers. I feel like he needs to go if I'm the Clippers. Like he needs to.
You feel like he's going to after this year?
He needs to relinquish power, and one of the things
well,
he needs to either.
The GM is Jerry West now.
He still has power. Jerry West was brought in as an advisor. He wasn't brought in as strictly a GM. He was brought in to help Doc. He wasn't brought in to take his role completely.
Well, but Doc's not the president anymore.
Yeah.
No, Doc's not the president, but he still has say over moves. He didn't relinquish all his power, I don't think. But there's something about the Clippers that just, it doesn't seem like they're trending in the wrong direction. But with the assets that they got, Avery Bradley, Tobias Harris, first round, second round draft pick, they got the big Boban. But I'd move DeAndre, I'd move Lou, get as many assets as you can, and maybe slide in the draft, try to get as high a pick, because your 2-star players are big men. So you can replace them with, DeAndre Ayton from Arizona, Marvin Bagley from Duke, Mo Bamba from UT. There's a lot of big men in this upcoming draft. That's why I have them there. And now I believe we need to prophesize, and I'll continue going. My prophecy is that the Spurs sweep the week. They're in a battle right now against the Nuggets, 88-87 with 8.5 minutes left in the game, and they play the Rockets on Thursday night at home, and they play the Jazz on Saturday, on the 3rd, so Saturday. So they play those 3 teams: Nuggets, Jazz, Rockets, all at home. So I'm just saying that they sweep the week, which is really me saying they're going to beat the Rockets. That's overall that was what I was trying to get. But
they're gonna beat the Rockets, but they're gonna lose to Utah.
I like to try it. They're gonna lose tonight, and it's gonna blow everything. But I like to, with the prophecies, I like to, instead of just sticking to the one game, I want to use that one game and wrap around and get this whole the sweep and stuff.
Yeah. Side note: James Harden went off for 60 points.
60 points.
First 60-point triple-double in NBA history.
Well, I mean, when was the last time we had a 60-point game? Since what? Kobe?
Kobe's 81.
81?
No. Yeah, Devin Booker went for 70.
Yeah.
But there's I think Westbrook went for 60 last season.
Did he?
I don't know, but I'll look this up while Andrew prophesies this for us. Pull out the crystal ball and put on your fortune teller's hat.
That crystal ball is looking kind of fuzzy right now. I mean, it's kind of hard to go with something aside.
Your glasses. Make sure your glasses are.
Oh yeah, let me just. Okay, yeah, looks like they're good now. Still kind of fuzzy, but I mean, not much I could work with right now this week. I got DJ's gone, DeAndre Jordan.
He's gonna be gone by this week.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying that the Clippers are saying that they're not blowing it up, but. They're blowing it up.
I think they're gonna blow it up, but try to get pieces that could still show that they're competing.
Yeah, of course. They're not gonna go full rebuild
Because I mean, Tobias Harris, Avery Bradley, those guys, they could.
They can still ball. I mean, they're gonna. They be fighting for an 8 seed.
Yeah, something.
They're not gonna be. Which I mean, do you really want to be there? You don't want to set up for A team. Yeah. I hate to promote tanking, but I mean, if you're gonna blow it up, you might as well fucking blow it up.
Do it for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. I was just saying that with the Clippers.
Yeah, there was a rumor saying that they was going to blow it up and try to get LeBron James.
You get on that goddamn diving board and you jump in.
Yeah, LeBron's not going to the Clippers.
Oh, he ready to blow them off.
Yeah.
Well, y'all ain't hear he bought that house in San Antonio?
Yeah, I heard that.
Right next door to Pop.
Hey, he did wish Pop a happy birthday and saying he's the greatest coach of all time. So, I mean, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi and LeBron.
And, Alvin, your prophecy.
Mine is that I have Texas upsetting Texas Tech in NCAA basketball. I feel like the Texas freshman is going to ball out again like he has been the past 2 games.
Yeah, to Andrew Jones, after he got diagnosed with leukemia or whatever the cancer he had. They had that emotional win that night, and
I think he went for 24, 26 that game. One of them. But he's just been a monster the past couple games. And I know Texas has a good defense, but I don't think they have anybody that can stop that big fella.
Gronk spikes.
So I did see that Kobe's last game, he had 60.
Oh, that's right.
Clay had 60. Remember
in the 20 minutes or whatever?
On 17 like dribbles or what?
Yeah.
Like, so he had that.
Was that the night he went off for like 36 in the third quarter?
I think it was against Indiana, right?
I think so.
He, it doesn't show who it was against. Damian Lillard had 59 last season, and Anthony Davis had 59 the year before that. So they were right on the cusp. Gilbert Arenas in 06 had 60. Allen Iverson in 05 had 60.
Gilbert Arenas? Jesus.
Kobe Bryant in 07 had 60. Kobe Bryant in 09 had 61. LeBron in 04 had 61. Shaq in 2000 had 61. Tracy McGrady in 04 had 62. Kobe Bryant in 05 had 62. Carmelo in 2014 had 62. Kobe Bryant in 07 had 65. There's a lot of Kobe Bryant on this list for modern age, because there's a lot of Wilt. Here's a fun one. Pistol Pete Maravich had 68 and 77. My favorite player of all time. Devin Booker had that 70-point game last year, and then Kobe's 81. And those are all the 2000 and later 60-point games that we've seen. And then Westbrook last year had the triple-double where he had 58. So that was the highest scoring triple-double in NBA history until tonight.
James Harden said, "King me."
Yeah.
MVP what? So,
should be raining. What?
Man, I think last year there was, there were like 6 good choices for MVP, but only one did something like historic that we've been talking about for decades.
Yeah.
James Harden did something historic to where he like scored or assisted on at least like so many percent, such a percentage of the Rockets that nobody had done. But nobody talks about that. The triple double has been talked about because it was always, can LeBron do it? Can LeBron do it? It was always, can LeBron do it? And then a 6'4" point guard does it.
But it's just, it's
the
triple double hype is fucking stupid.
The podcast that I'm editing, we discussed the triple doubles like this, where we talked about.
Yeah, because you got big men playing outside now, so that's leaves.
And that's exactly what you said too. It's like I'm having deja vu now.
It's watered down.
But let's wrap up. We got shit to do. We talked enough. Mm-hmm. Y'all distracted me. Gumbo distracted me.
Tom Brady distracted
but you have Matt Stafford. Don't you do it! Talk shit about Matt Stafford.
I was gonna see if I can get him.
You don't even need to see. Just you know it's gonna happen.
Check this shit out. Tom Brady's a goat.
Casey likes to explain things. All I have to say is something that he would contradict. So we've had our fires, we've had our dyers, we've prophesized, we talked about the Super Bowl. It kind of was Super Bowl football, weird dynasty. Tom Brady sucks. Talk. He doesn't suck. He's one of the greatest. But
he's up there with Derek Jeter.
He's just trying to push me off my cliff.
Not today, Satan.
He's on the Rushmore of quarterbacks, because in my honest opinion, Jerry Rice is the greatest football player of all time. But that's a topic for a different day. We thank whoever listens to this for listening. Continue to come back as we post more and talk more sports as the year goes on and as more things arise. And, by next week we could have more crazy NBA trades and we'll have a Super Bowl winner. Come on, Eagles. Come on, Eagles. Come on, Eagles. So we'll...
Die, Eagles, die.
So we will talk to y'all next week. I'm Casey Coggins here with Alvin Hebert.
Oh, bigs up to Ronda Rousey, WWE. My girl's
Rowdy Ronda.
Oh yeah, you saw that?
Coming out with the Roddy Piper
His jacket.
logo.
Yeah, and
With his
shirt,
jacket.
too.
Yeah, and the
shirt,
jacket.
too.
Yeah, so
That's not his shirt. That's Ronda Rousey.
And the style that he has.
It's called font, dog.
Oh, the font.
gotta get that typography.
You know why they did it, right? Is because they figure they got fucking Ric Flair's daughter there. What's the fuck? Charlotte Flair. Like, oh shit, we're gonna bring. Next thing you know, you can have Stone Cold Jane Austen. Telling you, man.
The Pebble.
The Pebble.
All right, so that was Alvin Heppert's goodbye to y'all. and Andrew Lara is here with us as well.
See ya.
See y'all next week.